Hi, welcome back to the Truth Doctor Show. My name is Dr. Courtney Tracy. I am known as the Truth Doctor. Thank you for coming back if you've been here before. And if this is your first time, I talk about the world through a mental health lens, and I use pop culture and the media as my medium. Recently, I have been reacting to Taylor Swift's music videos, and I'm currently watching her Miss Americana documentary. So, for all of you Swifties who are waiting for the next Taylor Swift video to come from me, please know I'm watching that documentary, and I really want to make sure to dive into some really important points. So, stay tuned for that video coming out next week. This week, I am responding and reacting to the new Billie Eilish music video for her song Male Fantasy on her newest album. Here we are talking about pornography and depression and mental health overall. There are some incredible themes here. And like always, Billie does an incredible job showing human emotion and human story in the form of art. Let's get to it. First thing that I actually really appreciate is that she is talking about females watching pornography. It seems like it is so taboo for women to talk about the fact that they watch pornography. And I love the way that she's doing this. I specifically like when she says that the girl wouldn't be having that type of dialogue and wouldn't be feeling that way in real life, which is how I'm taking it. And that's a really important point to make, is that pornography puts this perception onto each of us that sex is supposed to be a certain way. It's supposed to be always pleasurable. You're not supposed to have to talk in the middle of it. You're not supposed to have to figure out what works best for whoever it is that you're sleeping with. And it's something that's just supposed to be completely normalized and not affect us in any way, except it does in so many ways. I also think it's really important to mention how she said that she's staying home alone, trying not to eat. That is a huge part of depression. And of course, it's a part of eating disorders as well. But when you're depressed, you can just literally not want to do anything. Even if you're hungry, you don't want to get up and eat. And even if you want to get up and eat, you also don't want to get up and eat. So I just really like that she isn't afraid to tackle some of these really intense issues, as we see in so many of her other songs as well. Going back to therapy. That's not a bad thing. She seems like there's a lot of isolation going on right now. She's in her home by herself. She's moving from one room to another, is sulking, looking down. Her bedroom is a mess. She's kind of forcing herself to eat when she makes her way onto her dining room table. And she's saying things like nobody else comes around. When we're depressed, not only can we not want to reach out to other people because we just don't have the energy or we don't feel like we're worthy enough, but we can also have other people not come around us either, because it can be really overwhelming for people to realize that we're depressed and feel like they either have to be with us in our depression or they have to help get us out of it. And honestly, that does steer some people away. Seems like she's heartbroken as well, which is why she's turning partially to pornography in this video, which does happen a lot. If I'm getting over you, we're just pretending to. When we are already feeling depressed and we are trying to convince ourselves that the person that we love and the person that we want to be with is actually the person that we hate, it's really confusing. We're essentially trying to tell our minds that what it thought for so long in terms of being in love with this person or thinking that this person was going to be the person we were going to be with forever, to then saying you were wrong all that time. Yes, it's helpful if the relationship truly isn't going to work itself out, but that doesn't mean that it isn't hurtful. Doesn't mean that we aren't hurting ourselves trying to convince ourselves that somebody that we used to love is somebody that we now hate. And maybe we don't hate them, but we truly wish that we did. Think about when I'm behind the wheel. Washes her face. Ooh. When we are in the depths of depression, it can really feel like there isn't any way out. Depression makes us forget the happy times. Depression makes us feel worthless. It can make us feel hopeless, especially when we're not eating, we're having sleeping issues, we're irritable, we have restless leg syndrome, we're restless overall, but also have a lot of energy and desire to want to do something, but feel physically like we can't. It seems like that's a lot of what's going on right here. And this is seeming to be an ode to people who know what it's like to be depressed and know what it's like to feel like it lasts forever, but to also know that it doesn't. Yeah. Just having the days go on. I could never hate you. Yeah. My favorite part about this video is that she doesn't show it getting better. And that's really important. I think in a 3 minute and 30-second video, it's okay to just allow depression to be shown. It's okay to just allow it to be hard and it to be painful. And it's also okay to say that what you have been trying to do to make your depression better, to make your heartbreak better, isn't working. I try to convince myself to hate you, but I could never hate you. And sometimes that makes it harder. You realize that you can't go from loving someone to hating someone and have it be that easy, because you can't always convince your brain of something that it knew was once true in the past, that you're trying to have not be true in the present or in the past, because it would be easier to just forget the relationship overall. I also like that she ends this music video with it just fading to black, giving us time to think, and ending with the last statement that I could never hate you. And that's okay. Even if they've hurt us, even if they've treated us poorly, even if they've made us feel like we don't matter and we never did. And that may be the catalyst to the depression of our own feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness. Sometimes we just can't see that person in a negative light. I think that the last thing that I want to say about this is when it comes to pornography. I can't stand the dialogue. She will never be that satisfied. It's a male fantasy. I'm going back to therapy. Yes, it is very falsified, the perception of what sex is supposed to be like in pornography. And you can become that satisfied with the right partner. It's not necessarily going to look like what it looks like in pornography, but it can look like sensuality, and it can look like knowing exactly what to do for your partner, and it can look like being close, and it can look like having fun, and it can look like really whatever you want it to. But it doesn't just you meet somebody totally randomly and it's absolutely amazing. Yes, that happens sometimes, but very rarely. So I just want you to keep in mind that there are so many different types of relationships, so many different types of sexual relationships, so many different ways to deal with depression and heartbreak and isolation and difficulty eating and the other symptoms that come along with depression. And it is okay to sit with feeling this way and to play this song or watch this music video on repeat if you need to feel validated, to not feel like, oh, I'm just listening to these depressed songs. And when people say that Billie Eilish's music is just for depressed people and that makes me like too emotional. No, that's not the case. Music is created for us to feel our feelings. And the way that Billie talks about mental health topics in her music is absolutely incredible. I hope that you found this helpful. I'm available to answer any questions on anything that I mentioned down below. And if you are new, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video if you like this video, and hit the bell for notifications. Coming in 2022, starting in January, I am coming out with 4 different psychoeducational videos for you every single week, as well as a react video every single week. Going to start to react to the new season of Euphoria, as well as continuing with any music videos related to mental health that you'd like me to as well. You can also start to see any vlogs coming into the future, probably around February, because part of my platform is really being open and honest about the things that I struggle with as well, and talking to you as an open and honest mental health professional on how I struggle with what I struggle with and how I overcome what I overcome. It's really nice to have you guys here. Thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. I'm really trying to do something different here and show you guys mental health through the lens of pop culture and the things that you relate to as a generation. So thank you so much for being here. And as always, I am glad you exist. Till next time.